With the NHL season about to begin, there's been some spirited discussion recently about which team has the best defensive core in the league. A lot of folks are touting the Colorado Avalanche, including the Denver Post, and others are touting the Carolina Hurricanes. The Athletic was very positive about the Canes recently. Which one is it? Colorado? Carolina? For my money, it's the Canes. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why. Let's get started. So, the Hurricanes' D is very strong and has been for some period of time, for sure. Last year they had an outstanding defensive core led by their elite defensive defenseman, Jaccob Slavin. But Jacob can bring offense too, as shown 2 years ago when he hit 42 points. He does it all. He's just one of the best defensemen in the game. And his partner isn't far behind. That's Brent Burns. Burns came in from the San Jose Sharks last year, and he didn't miss a beat. Burnsy hit 61 points, including 18 goals, and was voted 10th overall in the best defenseman voting. So he got recognition right around the league. An outstanding season by Brent in his first as a Cane, and I'll tell you what, he fit in beautifully. And how about the second pair of the Canes? They've been rock solid for the last few years, and they play in all situations. Brent Pesce and Brady Skjei are as good as it gets for a 3-4 defenseman. Pesce hit 30 points last year in one of his better offensive seasons, and Skjei, he got off to a great start and hit 18 goals. So he was outstanding and tied for third overall in the league. So that's a great pairing as well, both defensively and offensively. The third pair last year was anchored by Jalen Chatfield. Chatfield had come over as a free agent a couple of seasons earlier. Actually had been with the Chicago Wolves when they won the Calder Cup. So he had a championship ring under his belt. Chatfield came in and did an outstanding job. He's a right shot defenseman on that third pair. He can skate like the wind, and he's tough as nails. He's a great defenseman for sure. And he showed it throughout the year. In fact, had a chance to sit in for Jaccob Slavin for a period of time on the top pair with Brent Burns and didn't miss a beat. He was outstanding. So, Chatfield is there, and then he had a couple of different partners last year, and both of them, I think, played well. Starting the season was Calvin DeHaan. Calvin came back to the Canes after heading to Chicago for a while, and he did a great job. But the Canes wanted to bolster their offensive side at the trade deadline and picked up Shane Gostisbehere from Arizona. Ghost came in, and he did add some offense, but it wasn't enough to bring the Canes over the top to win the Cup. Anyway, the Canes decided they wanted to strengthen their D just a little bit more, and they wanted to add a little bit more offense to the defensive core. So out they went. And at free agency, the opportunity presented itself for the Canes to snag the top guy in free agency, arguably. That was Dimitri Orlov. Orlov had a super season last year with both Washington and the Bruins. The Bruins had picked him up at the deadline, hoping he would be one of the key parts to take them to the Cup. Unfortunately, didn't work out that way for Boston. And Orlov decided to move on. So the Canes had their chance, and they jumped in and picked him up. He's an outstanding defenseman. He's been plus player for the last 8 seasons. He's a guy that can make it happen. Over 30 points 4 times, so he can bring offense as well. He's known for his open ice hits. He's known for being tough in his defensive zone, and boy, can he shoot the puck. So Orlov, a great addition, and on any team, he's going to be in the top 4 for sure. Who's his partner? Well, welcome back, Tony D. Tony DeAngelo comes back to the Canes after taking a year off to go over to play with the Philadelphia Flyers in his hometown area, but it didn't go so well for Tony, so the Canes had an opportunity to bring him back. After kind of a circuitous route and some different deals, he does become a Hurricane, and that's great news. 2 years ago with the Canes, Tony played alongside Jaccob Slavin and played great. Well, who doesn't? And anyway, had an outstanding season. He had 51 points, and he was plus 30. Not bad. And Tony, of course, was happy as anything playing with the Canes. So when the opportunity presented itself for him to come back to the Canes, he was all in. And the Canes wanted him to come back. They wanted him for the power play. He's one of the best PP quarterbacks in the game, and he's going to add a lot for sure. And of course, right now, that's what he's doing, quarterbacking the number 1 unit. So any way you look at it, the Carolina Hurricanes have an outstanding defensive core right from top to bottom. So how could you top that? Let's take a look at Colorado. The Avalanche have two of the best defensemen in the game and arguably the top pair in the league. For sure, Cale Makar is elite. He's incredible. 2 years ago, he was the Norris Trophy winner as the best defenseman in the NHL and hit 86 points. He was amazing. Last year, a little bit tougher for him, 66 points in 60 games, but he struggled through some injuries, and it wasn't as good a year as the previous year for him. His partner, Devon, has been outstanding. He's had 50 points plus the last 2 seasons. He's just been incredible since he joined the Colorado Avalanche from the Islanders. And he stands alone as an outstanding D player for sure, and him, along with his partner, Cale Makar, are clearly the top defensive pair in the league. So, they've got that definitely to work from. Let's see where they go from there. The next pair is Byram with his partner Sam Girard. Byram's a youngster. He's only been in the league for a few years. In fact, the most he's played in any season has been 42 games. That was last year. And he scored 10 goals, which was a good number for him. On the other hand, his partner Sam Girard, who's been around a little bit longer, has not played as well recently. The last 2 years, he's been negative. He's been minus 14 for the 2 years. And he struggled a bit. He's not a big player at 5'10 and 170 pounds, so the defensive side of his game is tough. And I think this is where a big differentiation comes from the Canes D to that of the Colorado Avalanche. And then the Avalanche third pair, it's no contest. I just told you a minute ago the Hurricanes have Dimitri Orlov and Tony DeAngelo, which would be a 1-2 pair on most teams. What have we got in Colorado? Well, it's the veteran Jack Johnson, who was drafted by the Canes in 2005 and has played for 7 different teams. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth. And his partner is Josh Manson. Manson has struggled to play in recent years. He's averaged only 35 games played in the last 5 seasons. So, you've got injury-prone Manson. You've got the growing older, if you will, Jack Johnson. I don't see that as much of a competition. The Hurricanes clearly win that one as well. And of course, when you get to 7th defenseman, there's not much to speak about. McDermott and others on Colorado. And of course, Jalen Chatfield is the magic man with the Hurricanes at number 7. So, I don't think it's a competition. Do you? For sure, the Canes are outstanding on the blue. I think they're the number 1 defensive group in the league, no question. And I think they're going to show that this year as they take this team very deep and probably to a Stanley Cup. So, we'll pick it up soon as all these things continue to happen with the Hurricanes and have a chance to talk about them right here on stormTRacker. If you have a chance, please subscribe, and any comments, I would be very happy to respond to them down below. Once again, thanks for joining me here on stormTRacker. We'll catch up soon.